Say good morning, everybody. It's nice to see your beautiful faces on this Wednesday, this last Wednesday. I am just tripping out at the fact that, oh my gosh, we are moving into the 11th month of 2024. And then there's a part of me that's like, thank God. It's like it's been incredibly
Right.
intense. And at the onset of the year, they said that energetically speaking, 2024 rivals 2020. And so in so many ways, if you're looking at, everything from the election that we are about to move through next week and just all the big energies, things that have been stirred up in us and perhaps experiences that you have lived through again and that are hopefully illuminating soul growth, progress. But it's big. It's big and it's disruptive. And I'm really, really excited. And I'll just give there's a little shout out at the end of the presentation today about the full moon on November 15th, where I'm going to be really talking about, even with the new moon just in a couple days on Friday, there's big Mars Pluto energy. So we'll talk a little bit about, well, we'll talk a lot about Mars today. Duh, that is the topic of this. But the Mars Pluto opposition is really, really powerful right now because collectively we are undergoing a massive transformation. And that is going to be the emphasis of my talk at Magic View events on November 15th to help us like ground into the transformation that we're undergoing. So, more on that towards the end of this. But first, let's talk about Mars. Okay, so Mars is this is the symbol of Mars. It is also the symbol of masculine energy, right? When you look at the Venus is the feminine symbol or symbolizing femininity, and Mars is this masculine symbol. So again, I will reference that person who made it like men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We're just going to rewrite that narrative to remember that we all have Mars and Venus in us. As women, as men, as non-binary people, we all share this energy. So today we'll talk about this as how it shows up for us. So this is key six, Mars energy. So again, we will talk about meaning of Mars, what Mars connections look like, feel like, all of that, and then how to practically apply it. Karenna, you came on saying that you are in your Mars period. Um, and so what does that look like energetically in your relationships, but also when you just move through, we are all well beyond our Mars period in life, but every year we have a Mars period for 52 days and every week. So and then the song is not called I'm Stumped. The song is like I couldn't think of a Mars song. So as we like, if something comes to mind while we're on this, let me know.
Okay.
Come here, Jasper. You want to come up? Okay. So here we go. Here we go. Okay, the meaning of Mars. So Mercury, Venus, we are the planet Earth. And then we have Mars. So in the Magi, it is considered the third connection or the third planet because we don't count ourselves. Everything is from our perspective. Okay, so Mars is, come on, but is the representation in astrology in the Magi system of energy. It is passion. It is drive. And it is also, if we go back to Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Mars is the warrior, and it is about anger and aggression and war and conflict. So there's very clearly with Mars, this is our first planet that very, very clearly has a high side and a low side. And so it's managing the Martian energy to its fullest that is the divine walk here. So Mars is the ruler of two signs, just like many of them are. Aries. So, for example, myself, I'm an Aries rising. So I'm a Taurus sun sign and moon sign, but I'm an Aries rising. If you're an Aries or a Scorpio rising, Mars is your planetary ruler, kind of directs the direction of your life. Is Jasper just like front and center? He's
Is
like,
Jasper an Aries or
he's a
Scorpio?
Leo.
Oh,
He is a freaking
Well, that makes sense.
right? Totally. Um, so he did not get his WALK this morning because I'm tending to my well-being, my cold. But also the ruler of Scorpio. So Scorpio is an interesting sign that has two rulers. It has both Mars and Pluto. That's why what's happening right now, energetically is very, very interesting, for what's going on. So if you're an Aries rising or a Scorpio rising, it's really important to understand what Mars is doing because it is the ruler of the direction of your life. That's what it means, to have it be your rising sign. Same thing, Mom, last week we went over Taurus, or we went over Venus, and I know that my mom is a Taurus rising. So Venus is my mom's ruler. So knowing what Venus is up to, when Venus is retrograding, what Venus is moving through is important. Does everybody know their rising signs?
yes.
I don't think I do.
Let me look at yours real quick. Mara, what's
Like,
yours?
I'm like three
Um,
Aries. Yeah.
I'm an Aquarius
You're an Aquarius
rising.
rising.
Aquarius
Okay.
rising.
What about you, Corinna?
I'm a Pisces rising.
Oh, Pisces rising.
How come I don't know?
You're a Sagittarius rising, Kimber.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll get to that next week when we talk about Jupiter, which makes a
Okay.
lot of sense. So also, but at the same note, you are an Aries, so Mars is important for you too, just being a sun sign Aries. Same with you, Mary. You guys are both like traditional Aries people. So knowing who rules your zodiac sign is gives you like a little bit of information.
Mhm.
So Mars is currently at the final degree of Cancer, and it will be moving into Leo. But the opposition, I had this incorrect. I put moving to Leo on November 3rd. Not quite yet. Mars will be moving right after this opposition. Mars will go into Leo before Pluto goes into Aquarius. But the Mars opposes. That's on Sunday. The opposition is important. When does it move? Um, Shoot. I don't have that there, but pretty soon. So it's in Cancer. It's finishing out. Mars is finishing out in Cancer. What's important to understand. So well, I'm not going to correct that right now. It will be moving to Leo. That is true. After Cancer, you go into the sign of Leo. And then it will retrograde December 6th to February 23rd. In Leo first, it'll retrograde back into Cancer. And this is significant for a couple of reasons. Let me first talk about this. The opposition to Pluto, they are both at what's called the diaretic point of 29 degrees. So 29 in any, piece of pie of the zodiac, it goes from 0 to 29 degrees. The 29th degree point is often considered the void, or it is a very, like a 29 is an 11. It's a very spiritual number. There's a great significance carried in this. And Pluto is really the bigger story here. And that's what I want to talk a lot about, or I will be for the whole month of November, because Pluto will move, is finishing out its final days in Capricorn this month for our lifetime. So Pluto has been in the sign of Capricorn since 2008. So a massive chapter is ending for everybody collectively. And Pluto's kind of been dancing back and forth into retrograde and out of retrograde for a couple of years. It takes Pluto a couple of years to move. And so this final movement will happen on November 19th, just after the full moon. And so as we move into November and through the first part of November, knowing that a major chapter in your life is closing is one of the takeaways of this opposition. But Mars, being the co-ruler of the sign Scorpio with Pluto and having an opposition on the Scorpio new moon, which is on Friday, is a huge signal that when something is in opposition, well, it's opposing forces. And so you've got this energy, this passion, this drive. There could be aggression, anger, conflict with Mars. And then Pluto is the transformer, wants to change and evolve and grow us. And often when I do, it's usually the essence of my mini magi readings that I do with somebody is I let them know what their Pluto card for life is and talk about your Pluto card for life, because understanding that is a big, like a huge key into understanding how your soul is choosing to evolve in this lifetime. And so when you have like the death, the ending, the transformer, Pluto opposing Mars, this energetic, passionate, aggressive energy right before the elections and our country having this Pluto return, it is going to be a very intense couple of weeks right now. And so the invitation on the 15th is to ground in, like, we don't know what is going to happen yet next week as far as elections go. And I know that collectively that has people very concerned about the direction. And so a lot of it is about like grounding into ourselves and letting go of that which we cannot control and accepting whatever happens to happen, and to really tune into like the peace and the love and how can we transform above whatever is going to happen, and use our energy and our passion and our drive for good, and not to get pulled down into conflict and anger, because that is a very prevalent overshadow of this weekend. It's really massive energy. On the same day, November 3rd, everybody here is invited to the Mastery of Love kickoff of Don Miguel Ruiz's book, our Soul Growth Book Club. So hopefully we will collectively in our group, we will be raising the vibration of love and just really remembering. And Cosmic Pulse is also doing a drum circle that day, which I think is a great way to tap into the higher side of this. But it can be pretty aggressive energy. So it's always nice just to have a heads up. It's less about communication and it's more like what we're feeling inside, and also acknowledging that there could be a lot that is changing, that has been removed, that is continuing to be taken away. And I guess just always remembering that what's removed from our lives is for us, because we do live in a loving universe that wants the best for us. So the things, the people, the places, the jobs, the homes, the situations, the pets, whatever it is that is, undergoing transformation right now, it is for your soul growth in the most supported, beautiful way possible. But we are in the period of transformation. So bleh. it can feel not so great, right? Uh, yeah. Yeah. Any comments or questions about that?
I think a lot of the war, anger, and conflict is for me as an Aries is inside because I'm
Yeah.
such a
Oh,
freaking people pleaser that I'm fighting with myself about what I'm
mm,
capable of and and so I get that part. That I don't think it's such a bad thing
no.
that my card for the year
Yeah.
is the Ace of Spades and it's all about everything. And I'm ending so much of like part of the goal of this new class is I'm done with insecurities. I have things to
Yeah.
do here. So everybody
Yeah.
tell me what is that thing so I can get out there and do it so I
Yeah.
can be fulfilled. And yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think that was really powerful what you said about it being our like a lot of the conflict can happen within ourselves, especially
Mhm.
as Aries people or as Aries rising. It can be an inner conflict, and that is often the
And
most
the 10 of clubs,
Mhm.
the brain.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just going, going, going. Yeah. The retrograde that they talk about that is starting on December 6th and goes through February 23rd is a really long time for Mars to be retrograding through Leo, which is the sign of our creative projects, our passion. It is sensuality as well, and children are in that. And then it'll be coming back into the sign of Cancer, where it doesn't do well at all because Cancer is a water sign and Mars is a fiery sign. And in the sign of Cancer, that
Mm.
has to do with our family, our roots, our ancestry. So there's also a lot being stirred up in that. So the fact that like Mars, who's usually really aggressive and fast moving and like let's go, is going to go into Leo, but is going to come back into Cancer. It is kind of also just fair warning that into December, January, February, you might feel a little stagnant in forward movement because the planet that kind of pushes us forward and gives us our drive and our energy is in a slower moving water sign during this retrograde. So there's going to be lots and lots on that. I always recommend Molly McCord. I think she is, for me, she is one of my favorite astrologers because not only will she do the charts and show you, but she just intuitively explains things really well. And this is just like a good little heads up of what's to come. So let's talk about Mars connections specifically in our life spreads and what they can mean. So if somebody is now your Mars card, or if you are a Mars card to somebody. So on the high side of this connection, Mars connections are really helpful for initiating energy for projects, right? It's very active energy. They can be, they can lead to spiritual fitness. Like if you have a Mars connection, it's really good to work out together, to ride bikes, to do whatever it is that you love, to dance, but to move energetically. There has to be movement in this connection to keep it on the high side. I mean, if you want a passionate sexual relationship, look for the Mars card. So the Venus card also has that, but Venus is more like the friendship and the love, and Mars is like the passion and the drive, right? So that is the distinction between both Mars and Venus are good connections for sexual chemistry, but Mars is more like the passionate. Um, People who have Mars connections are also excellent for work partnerships. So the Mars period in our life, like Corinna, you're in a Mars period of your life. It is a period, a 52-day period where you can get a lot of drive, a lot of stuff accomplished towards your goals, towards what it is that you are working towards building and constructing. And so if you have a Mars connection as well with somebody, they can fuel that fire. Um, and again, so it's very helpful for the realization of dreams, goals, and ambitions because it is all that is the high side energy of it. And the low side is that, oh wow, that is covered right there. The person, it can cause all kinds of irritation, anger. They can get on your last nerve, like, yeah, there can be fighting, there can be bickering between a Mars connection. There's lots of space for competition, right? And the desire to win. And a lot of this has to do with if the physical energy isn't used, it can lead to this irritability and to the fighting. So, one of the highest things to know, or the most important takeaways about connections with other people, is knowing who these people are and knowing that, especially the closer you are in relationship with this person, that it is going to be important to be active with the person, to actively use the energy. This is not the energy of let's hold hands and sit on the couch and watch a show after TV after dinner together. That's not going to be the best use. It will lead to fighting and irritability.
So have a lot of sex is basically what you're saying, because that's the active.
That is a physical, yes, that is definitely a
Use that
physical,
energy.
spiritual fitness. That is one form of it, for sure. Yes.
Or you could ride a bike, Mayor. You can ride a bike.
Mhm.
No, thank you. I pick option one.
Okay,
Sarah
how
would
do I
prefer to ride a
know-
cowboy.
How do I know my Mars
Oh my
connection?
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we learn our Mars connection?
All right, let's go. Let's go.
How
So
do I know,
You're-
Andy?
we're about to find out. Okay.
Okay, good.
So how to find them. So in your life spread, I'll pull up the graphic in just a minute and we'll go through each person's here. Excuse my running nose.
Thank you.
So Mars is the third, okay? Because remember, we're not counting Earth. We go Mercury, Venus, those were easy to count, 1, 2, and then we skip over Earth and Mars. So Mars is the third card in your life spread. So we all, again, just to talk about how the Magi card science system works, we all have a life spread that is based on the first quadration of the deck, which Mare has successfully learned to do. Very exciting. And so that life spread is where we read everything for your life. So you're in your Mars period of life when you are between the ages of 26 to 38. It is also the third 52-day period of your year. So Karenna just said she just started her Mars period. So the 52-day period of your year begins on your birthday. You go first through Mercury, Venus, and then Mars. I'm going to sneeze. I want to hang on 1 second. I'm going to stop the share so that I can mute it and not.
We could just watch. Bless you.
The sneeze went away. Oh, it'll come
Look
back.
at the sun, and that usually will help you.
Come on. All right.
Did you take on?
Carry on we go. Whoa. Stop your screen sharing is paused. Stop share. I want to start the share. Share.
We're here.
Share.
Oops.
Why is it paused still? What is it doing? What are you guys seeing on your end?
Andrea,
Black.
it started screen sharing. Double click to enter
It's just a
full
black
screen
screen,
mode.
yeah.
I know. Why is it doing that? Okay, stop. Stop. Okay. Should not have stopped the share. I'm going down to share. Oh,
We're sharing. I see everything.
okay. There it is again. Okay.
Here we go.
It is also the third day of your energetic week. So this is based on that cosmic calendar. I shared it with Sherry and Kimber last week after Venus. This is where, based on the day of the week that you were born, I'm born on a Wednesday. So my Mars day is Friday. And if you either go to Seven Thunders and you look at your daily card, or if you have an app that shows you your daily card, it'll tell you that this is, your Mars day is a great day for sex, right? Because it is that passion and that drive. So just to know that is that, but it's also an ambitious day of the week. You can get a lot accomplished on that day. It's an ambitious period of your life overall. And then just this card is more indicative of who is your lifetime Mars person. So it enhances your ambition, drive, passion. And you can also be more prone to arguing or anger and competition. So there's high and low sides for sure of this card. So again, it's going to be the third card to the left. I guess I do it this way because the card science reads opposite of how we read. And then there are Mars periods for our lifetime, yearly and weekly, and they reflect the themes of passion. So when you look at the cards, this is more for Magi Mastery students like Mare, who is like really learning how to interpret the cards. Whenever you have cards in the Mars period, and also for you, Karenna, we can look at your Mars period cards. It has this umbrella kind of passion ambition, anger. So you read it under this lens. And as all cards do, it reflects the ideas and perhaps people. So if you know somebody's birthday and that card shows up in your Mars period, that person could inspire and, energize you and get you really excited about a project, or they can piss you off, right? And just anger you, more prone to that during that period. Okay, here we are. Okay. So yes, as always, we have spiritual spread Mars cards, and I'm just gonna take my mama because her face is up there right now. So Ace of Diamonds is my mom's birth card, so it reads to the left, 1, 2, 3. So anybody who is a 4 of Diamonds is my mom's Mars card. And you could be a 4 of Diamonds from the from your birth card or your planetary ruling card. It doesn't make a difference. If somebody has that card, they are okay, 2 of Spades. That is it. And for you, Mama, if you don't know 4 of Diamonds, it's just like, that's good to know, but doesn't really help me. And then 1, 2, 3, 10 of Clubs is also your Mars card. So that would be Mare. Mare is your Mars card.
Oh.
Yay.
Mare might piss you off, Mom. No, I'm just kidding. Or anger you. But this just means
I've been known to do that.
in past lives, that's where the spiritual spread energy comes from, past lives. So sometimes there's uncompleted business. You could have been siblings in a past life and fought and you're working out conflict in this life, or you could have been lovers in a previous life and unable to consume your passion. And so in this life you find each other and you have this really passionate relationship, and then you're like, okay, that karma is cleared. Or you could have been enemies. Like there's all kinds of ways. So it's good. But I think like knowing who your Mars person is in this life is also just really important. You're counting to the left to 3. So I'm going to take the Jack of Diamonds because you're here in kind of a funky spot. So for you, Karena, a 2 of Spades person is your lifetime Mars card. And then you're just right next to each other. Also the 4 of Diamonds, 2 and 4 of Diamonds. 2 of Spades, 4 of Diamonds are your Mars people. My Mars card is an 8 of Spades. I don't know any 8 of Spades people. And then also for my 10 of Diamonds, it's the Ace of Diamonds. That's my mom. My mom is one of my Mars cards. So can everybody identify Queen of Diamonds? That's interesting, Kimber, because you and also you, Mare, as being as being Aries people,
Mhm.
your planetary ruling card is your Mars card. So these are your 2 cards. So if you meet another 3 of Spades, or Mare, if you meet another 3 of Diamonds person, or 3 of Hearts, sorry, person, not only are they going to be a very strong reflection of you because you share the same card energy, and we'll get to that. That'll be the last class of this, is if you have the same cards. They'll be a strong reflection to you, and they will also be a very passionate person in your life. Now, if you take your other card, so then you take 1, 2, 3, 5 of Diamonds would be your second, Kimber, and 10 of Spades would be your second Mars card. So, and remember last week how I talked about how there can be mutual Venus energies? The same is true for here. And I'm going to use my card again because I'm here in the center and I have a lot of connections. It could be a mutual if I meet. So this is Susan, Dr. Woo Woo. She and I are Mars to each other. Mare, you and I are Mars to each other. This would be Lisa. We have Mars energy, and then the 4 of Hearts. I have another friend who's a 4 of Hearts. So it can go 3 spaces diagonally or to the left. And not everybody has that. So the Queen of Diamonds, you can 1, 2, 3. With the Jack of Hearts, you share mutual. And when it's mutual, Mars energies, you both feel it. It's flowing the same way to and from. Versus the Three of Spades, you would be the recipient of that Martian energy. The Queen would feel the energy more than the Three of Spades would versus mutual energy. So again, you don't need to have it all figured out and know who every Mars person is in your life. What matters is if you're in a significant relationship and you want to know all the connections, I look at like the first 5 connections that cards have. And if you are in an intimate relationship, having some Mars energy is really good for the intimacy. And it's also really good to know like how to use that energy, which we've already identified as spiritual sex, right? That is the way to go. Use it that way as your fitness outlet. That would be a really good way to use the energy. Now, but also if you're working with somebody, having Mars energy is really good because it will drive the passion towards the creation of whatever it is that you are working on together. It can also go up this way. So I don't want to, like, this is not a class in how to read it. It's just mostly like looking at those first connections that you have. Who is obvious? Does anybody jump out at you like you're like, oh my gosh, like even just
And
seeing, oh, I've never
it's
really thought about my mom as being my Mars energy. I often think about her as my Saturn card, but she's also my Mars card. And then I went on and dated a couple Ace of Diamonds. It's maybe passionate energy, but it's between Saturn and Mars, kind of tougher energies that
where would you go from mine on the 10 of clubs on the crown line? I would go to the ace and then the 3 of diamonds.
so yours would be, yeah, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Yeah.
Oh, so myself, that's what you meant. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, because yeah. And that's how it works, right? That's how our planetary ruling cards work. Because
Mhm.
you are in Aries, you are ruled by Mars. And so
Right.
and Mars is important for you. It's important to understand what Mars is doing. I think it's perhaps more important to understand what the planetary ruler of your ascendant, your rising sign does, because our rising sign, again, and I'm like such a Taurus in so many ways. Like in so many ways, but I'm also an Aries rising. And so as an Aries rising, a lot of people see my passion and my drive and my go-get-emness because that I have Mars energy in a big way that is steering the motivation of my life. And
Mhm.
so I think knowing who your ascendant is, who did you say, what was yours, Mare?
For which one?
Your rising sign?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. So for you, it's the Uranus card. Or Uranus, and what Uranus is doing is really important to an Aquarius rising. Understanding, and we'll get to Uranus in a couple of weeks. Uranus. Nobody says Uranus anymore. I mean,
Thank God.
except for 6th graders
Yeah, exactly.
and teenagers.
Actually, I do know an astrologer who says Uranus, so there are some that still say
Ooh.
it.
Okay, good. I mean, tomato, right?
There's also an astrologer I follow that says Libra, which I really enjoy it.
Libra.
Yeah, he's
Libra.
like they actually back in the day said Libra. It's actually
Interesting.
like from 100 years ago or more. I can't remember what time period now. I think early 1900s. Yep. Anyway, it's kind of
Oh,
fun.
that is interesting. Okay, there we go. There are astrologers still using how we were taught it in school, and snickered all along. Other questions about like, can you identify your main? So the main Mars card is the one that's 3 to the left. That is the person who is your Mars card. You feel the energy, you receive the energy from that Mars connection.
So mine be the 10 of spades on my life spread?
For the 3 of hearts, it's the 10 of
Yeah.
spades. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Note that that's my fling card.
It's you're looking for like who do I who's my
Okay, so for
cowboy?
Like,
mine, sorry, I'm just trying to get clarity. So is mine the three of, sorry, what do you call that? Clubs. There we go.
Three of clubs.
So your for your Jack of Diamonds, no, it goes this way. Your Jack of Diamonds, it's because you read
Oh,
down.
I thought so, but I thought you just read the opposite way for Mare. Okay, I obviously
Okay,
didn't
no,
what she
Mare's
is.
is Mare's
Oh,
is
she's up there.
because
Okay.
she's hers is so short. It's like
Yeah.
Mercury being it, boom.
For some
Yeah.
reason I thought she was in the row below. Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
got
So
confused.
you have these two. I mean, because you're ruled by your moon card, and so yours are all your energies are just like right next to each other. So
Okay,
it gets yeah, it gets
those are my main ones. Okay, thank you.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
got-
Yeah, yeah. Has anybody experienced a Mars relationship like when looking at these cards being like, "Oh my gosh, so and so has been Mars to me," and that explains anything? Do you feel that? Do you know what that it feels like or not so
is the
much?
connection of the sun signs are still valid for Mars, right? Like, I know that the rising is like
Oh yeah.
your leader, but I mean, is your actual birth sun sign,
Mm-hmm.
correct? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not the same with the card reading, but still, I get what
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just important, like when you think about like what's happening in the universe and when they're talking about the planet Mars, it's always like Mars is kind of a mixed bag because there's a lot of power in passion and that kind of energy. It's really useful, it's really helpful. It's a fire sign,
Mhm.
fiery energy, which is really, really good for getting shit done. So also looking at your Mars period in your year and starting to understand like when do I move into when is my Mars period, my Jupiter period. And I often like I just have mine written down because I don't like it's a lot of dates to remember. Yeah, I think about it more also on my week. Like I know that Friday is a good week for me to get stuff done. Even though, it's like rolling into the weekend, it's like, no, like this is a good day to like I do a lot of readings on Fridays or have in-person meetings, like things like that to use the energy of Mars to fuel me forward, more so than my Venus day the day before. My Venus day could be about creation, but it's not quite as driven as a Mars
How
day.
do you find out your peer? I know the days, but how do you find out your other than the 52 day off of the 7 days or seven thunders? How
Yeah.
do you know when your Mars period? Like I know I'm in Saturn because
Okay.
of Channy's website, but how does
Okay.
anybody who doesn't have those things know?
Yeah. So I'm gonna
Okay, good.
stop this right now. The
Okay.
only way, I mean, is to, I mean, it's all counted out in this book. So I'm going to see what page it's referenced on. So there's all these birthdays. They start on page 363. And I'll let you
Okay.
guys know right now what period you're in because there's these chart. I mean, it's just like this is such a great reference book. You look up
Okay, okay.
Mom, your birthday, January 26th. So right now, you just entered into, how do we want to say it? Uranus, period,
Uranus.
on the 13th,
Uranus.
on
Yeah.
the 13th of October. And then on December 4th, you'll enter into your Neptune period. But this book references, it just shows you when your periods are. It's helpful. So Corinna, you are aware of yours because through this book, or how did
No,
you?
I just counted it. I thought you just counted from your
You could
birthday.
absolutely, you can 100% count it.
Okay, yeah, I'm like,
I mean,
that's
that's what he did. He just
okay.
like um Robert Lee Camp, like he's very good with math and numbers and
Yeah,
programming, so he just probably
yeah.
built the program so he doesn't have to count it. But that's exactly what you do. And so
Okay,
yeah,
How
that's
how
what
do
I
you
want.
count it? You count 45
52,
days? 52
52,
days.
52. So I will give you yours. You're
Okay.
probably Jupiter, Saturn, April. Night. Yeah, you're finishing out your Jupiter period. And we'll be going into Saturn on the 3rd of November. And so
Okay.
like each period of our year, it's a good time to know, like, especially that Mars comes right before Jupiter. Mars is like driving the passion, and then Jupiter is like the blessing period. Jupiter is also the halfway point through our year. So that's another
Mhm.
thing. If you know your half birthday, um, you're in your Jupiter period during your half birthday. And you know yours, Mare, because you looked on.
Channy's website, she tells me.
Oh, like tells okay.
Yeah, according to my sign, she tells me my.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're in your
So
Saturn period. It started on the 20th.
yeah, I'm just now, remember, I didn't go to a lot of school, so I'm just now learning the placements of the planets.
Yeah.
So when you guys say you're counting from your birthday,
Yeah.
you put your birthday where your planet is, and then you're counting. What are you
52.
counting? Just
Like
50,
I think that's literally what Karana is doing. I mean, which is like it's 52, then 100
but
and
how do you know the planet that you're in? It's
oh, because
from
it will always go in the same order. Just like the day of
okay,
the week that you have that
right.
that sheet that's right up there.
Mhm.
That
Right.
the day of the week, it's always that order always changes. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter,
Excuse
Saturn,
me.
Uranus, Neptune. And
Okay.
the more you talk about it, the more you teach it, the more you study it, the more it like ingrains in. Because I went back to, yeah, like fifth grade in my mind when it's like my very earthly, like remember how you tried to, or we used to try to
Oh,
come up with an anagram for,
Susan has one and I forgot it, but it was good at the time. It
yeah.
was good.
And
Yeah.
I don't, I all I remember is it started with my very eager mother, I think it was. And and this is something that my girlfriend Sari and I made up and try to remember the order. Um, but the order of the planets, if you didn't learn it back then, or if it's been a while, it always moves the same in this system. Mercury through Neptune. And then Pluto has its own special spot because, we're always trying to figure out if Pluto's a planet or not, but Pluto is the transformative card. So Pluto is not a period in our year, and instead it is a massive influence. It is the change and the growth of our year.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, let's just finish out here. So next week we'll talk about Jupiter. Next week is the 6th. And yeah, we'll know a lot more next week than we do this week about where we are in the state of the world. And then I wanted to invite everybody to save the date. This is what I was talking about on November 15th. Kimber and Mare on opening up a physical space for their Crystals and Gifts boutique. And so there's going to be a little sneak peek to that. We're going to be at beautiful Magic View. And I have no idea what the weather will be like on November 15th. I am imagining a beautiful fall night with lots of blankets and layers and fire pits. And we will just be gathering for a little bit of the astrological overview. Like I said, I will be mostly focusing on the transformational power of Pluto and how we can ground ourselves in to that. And I have a shorter playlist. We'll do 3 songs, and this is something that if you have a musical instrument, a drum, tambourine, if you want to bring some music, you can. It'll be a night. It is the Taurus full moon, which is my moon. So I'm really honored to be the one who gets to speak at this sneak peek of Crystals and Gifts, and also just put out there that if the weather is rainy or Arctic cold, there is an indoor option space available. So we will just move it indoors if that is what it calls for. And it's $27, and that is going to be so worth the investment. There's going to be food and drinks, and you'll get discounts on any perhaps gifts that you would like to give over the season that is just so quickly
Right.
around the corner.
Yes.
And amazing cookies. Don't forget the cookies.
Oh,
The
yeah.
cookies.
Yeah, amazing cookies.
I cannot wait to have your cookies. Whatever amazingness you made out of the apples on my tree. Oh my God. I don't even know. I don't even know. And then I wanted to let everybody know that we had put on our calendar to do a river walk for Sherry's birthday this Saturday, but that is going to be postponed. Something came up for her that she is unable, and as well as for me, I am starting the Magi mentoring program with Robert Lee Camp, and I have 2 mentees, and we have a meeting that morning. To officially meet our mentees, and super exciting. One of mine is from France. So
Oh,
I will
stop.
be
That's so
mentoring
good.
in French. So normally a first person or a first time mentor only gets 1 person, but I have been entrusted with 2. And interestingly enough, they are both 9 of Hearts people. And
Mm.
I say interestingly enough because 9 of Hearts is my Pluto card, my
Okay, that's what
basic
I want to
card.
know.
That ending in love, and oh my gosh, and I feel like I'm like all I've been thinking about is the 9 of Hearts, and now like 2 9 of Hearts people are my people. But they
Wow.
match us up with our mentees based on our connections. And I also have Saturn energy. I'm Saturn to them, which means I'm a good teacher towards them. They can receive it, hear it from me better.
Okay.
That's the wrap up there. Oh my gosh, can you hear my dog? He's like chasing his tail behind me. Okay, I'm stopping share. What questions can I answer for you personally on it could be on Mars or anything else. I can also, when we have extra time, yeah, I'm yours.
I just looked up the birthdays for my Mars cards and I've got if it there's only 3 options. I
Mm,
don't like those odds.
for the 3 of Hearts.
The 3 of Hearts is yeah, November 30th, December 28th, and then this I have a 10 of spades just on January 4th.
Is that the only 10 of Spades birthday?
That's what I scanned quickly, but I
Okay.
might be blind, but
I think there might be a few more 10 of Spades, but yeah, Spades and Hearts are the few. There's fewer of those. But again, some connections can also be created based on your karma cards as well. So there's that. Like I don't want to get too far into it, but
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you looked up.
I have a client, so I'm gonna go, but so good to be with you all.
Awesome. It's
Alrighty.
good to see you. Bye,
Bye.
Feel
Corinna.
better.
Talk to you in a
Thank
little while,
you.
Corinna.
Sounds good. Bye,
Okay,
Kimber.
bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna stop the recording and we'll stay on for Q&A, but it completes the class today. I know what you want, Jasper. And yeah, let me just stop the record. Next week, Jupiter.